Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Lesser Known Operators. I am your host, as always, Nicholas Allen, and my guest today is Chris Dahl of the 10th Special Forces Group. He retired as a Chief Warrant Officer, has been working with the Survival University, and out there with Nick Merrick at Green Beret Racing. Today, we went over some things that he's getting into, story from his military, and learned a little bit more about him. As always, today's episode is brought to you by the Green Beret-owned business Precision Wellness Group and Dr. Taylor Bosley. Precision Wellness Group helps you restore balance, unlock vitality, and fuel your momentum through bioidentical hormone therapy and evidence-based personalized telemedicine. Dr. Taylor Bosley is a board-certified physician, a U.S. Army veteran, and a former Green Beret. So he knows where you've been, where you want to go, and how to get you there. And he's an actual doctor that can prescribe you actual medicine. That's a bonus. All that schooling paid off. So if TRT, HRT, hormones, testosterone, peptides, GLP-1s, aesthetics are something you've been looking into or just starting to look into, look no further than Precision Wellness Group and Dr. Taylor Bosley in Southern Pines, North Carolina. In-person walk-in telemedicine. Use code LKO20 at checkout. Checkout? On your consultation paperwork to save 20% on said consultation. I do appreciate you guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, pass these episodes along. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you guys and enjoy the show. Chris Dahl, welcome to Lesser Known Operators, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love when people reach out to me and through my super strenuous filtering process. Hey, can I come on your show? Yeah, sure. I like
I don't
people
know
that
how
they'll come
I don't
back.
know
They're
how
like,
interesting I am, but I don't know. I got some cool
I,
stories
that,
I figured people might like to hear and you might like to talk about.
I
So
do. I now, as from doing the show so much, I get to talk to people and hear these life lessons that they've learned over, sometimes some hard life lessons that they've learned through trial and error or some painful experiences. And I get to take that in and get wiser off of it without leaving my basement. So I'm all about it. When I would kind of was first starting out, I sent a couple messages to other shows and I said, I'd be interested in coming on your show. And they would fire back with, well, send us the one that got me to where I said, I'm never going to do that ever again was they said, well, send us a resume and a short. I don't even think they used the word short, but send us a bio and we'll let you know if we're interested. I was like, I'm never gonna ask anybody to come on their podcast ever again after that. I said, I'm not gonna do that. So which is fine. Everybody's got their thing and their business with how they do things, but I'm gonna try and not do that and just have conversations with people. And if I can keep it up, that's good. And we'll see where things go. So no, I'm
right
all
on.
about it, man. Fuck yeah. You said you found me from Nick Merrick?
Yeah, Nick is a friend of mine. We were warrants on the same team. Well, after.
Yeah, not at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Who wants two warrants? That'd be a disaster. Nick will probably laugh when he hears that.
God, I mean, for a while it was I think what was that first group? There was more warrants running teams than there were captains running teams or something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
Unconfirmed, but there was
Sometimes there's a bottleneck with the 18 alphas somehow, and they don't come out. They don't get birthed all at the right time.
yeah, it seems like that in 18 deltas, right? There's never enough 18 deltas no matter how many are graduating. There's never
Yeah.
enough deltas and then somehow there's warrants running teams. But
Right.
if you only have a team leader on a team for 18 months, then you move them off and you don't have anybody to backfill them. Well, then that's just how things are going to be.
Yeah. I was a team leader for a little bit and it sucked. I was excited about it. I was like, "Oh man, I get to be a team leader. So great." And then I found out that it's lonely at the top. It's not as nice as you think. Even though you're around the guys all the time, you're still an officer and you have to do all that officer stuff and it gets kind of lonely at the top. So I did not enjoy
Yeah.
my team leader time. I was like, "Man, give me a captain so I have somebody to hang out with."
What's an example of what you thought was gonna be fun to be running a team, and then you're like, oh man, this sucks. Was it doing the Cub slides or was it the the storyboards, or was it having to listen to the new policies and about patches, or how about the weird stuff that happened in 2018 or 19? Which one was it?
It was really the I mean, I was an NCO, so I know what shenanigans are, and I know we all, as Green Berets, we all love to usurp everything above us at any time. Like, none of us want authority above us. We're all a bunch of misfits. So the second I stepped out of that NCO rank into the officer rank, there's a little bit of separation. And when you're asked to run a team, it's like, all right, I want to do what the guys want to do all the time, and I want to be a bro. But then there's like hires reaching down, and they're like, well, wait a minute, here's some things you have to do. And there's a little bit of a confliction, because you got to go back in the team room and tell the guys, like, sorry guys, we can't do that, or maybe that's not the best thing for us to do. And Green Berets don't like that.
No, they don't. It's but as you will know, it's still better than being a line infantryman in a conventional army unit. We it's like first world problems, right? We complain about having to do these things, even though, hey,
Yeah,
we're still in the team room. We're still
I know.
senior NCOs. It's still
Yeah.
pretty badass. But
Right.
what do you mean I got to do my AT level 1 or my SEER 100?
Yeah.
Listen, man,
Beer's not
just
cold
print the
enough.
fucking
That's sweet.
certificate
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. We're all prima donnas. And I'm the same way. It's just, but it was nice. I learned that it was nice to have a captain around, because that captain could lean on me for some stuff and I could lean on him, and we could kind of, be dorky officers together. Do you remember the episode of The Office? Do you watch The Office at all?
I've seen it once all the way through. I've never seen an episode twice, though.
When they make Jim co-manager with Michael,
I
and they're
think
like,
so. Yeah.
yeah, so they're co-managers together, and the whole office is coming down on them, and then they lock themselves in an office, and they kind of just they have a little whiskey together. That's kind of what it's like having a captain.
Get to share in the misery. Yeah, that is nice about the team, the rest of the team, though. I mean, being there and having the guys, we miss that when that stops. So when that
Oh
goes
yeah,
away, you're like,
for sure.
man, it was so good. It was so much fun.
I know.
Did they tell you about that at all at the warrant course, or is it just warrant stuff? They're just teaching you how to be a warrant, or did the guys ever give you any of the lessons learned about what happens when you actually become an officer from being an NCO?
They don't. They don't. You kind of have to dig that out of some of the instructors, because it's all the school stuff they want to teach us. We focus on all the tests, all the academics, and then they'll bring a command team in, and we'll do like a breakfast, and we'll listen to a command team and how a good ODA runs, and they'll talk to us, and then we'll do it. I think we do it again, and we'll talk to like a battalion command team and listen to their perspective. But no, not really, man. They don't share too many of those life things. Like, what I learned when I became a warrant was the, pretty much as soon as you show up, you're immediately faced with decisions, and you don't see them as much when you're not in an officer role, and it kind of sucks. Like, every day it's like, okay, do we go left or right? All right, well, I guess we're going right. Okay, again, do we go left or right? Okay, well, now we're going left. And every day you're making those decisions, and you're in the decision making. I don't know, the decision making, what do they call it? Like a triangle, the captain, the triad, you're in the triad of the leadership. So that was a hard
And
shift.
why do you say that's difficult? Is that just because of your relationship with the guys? Because so when you got your dot, did you go back to your team that you were on, or did you go to a different team?
No, I went to a new team. Yeah. And then, yeah, so I had all new people, and it was a Halo team. And you're just immediately staring, what am I trying to say? You're just staring decisions in the face all the time. Like, all right, as soon as you show up to the team room, you got to start writing all the concepts, making all the decisions with the leadership about the whole the next 6 to 12 months of training, and then dealing with all the day to day with the guys. And also, you know what they do? They charge with warrants. They charge you a lot with safety. They're like, all right, you're the safety guy, and then as you show up, you're not really sure where that line is. Like, how safe am I supposed to be? Because I'm a brand new warrant. Do I want to be super safe? And but I also don't want to piss off the guys. That's a tough one too. Because Green Berets, we like to, sometimes we fly by the seat of our pants. And
No, do such a thing. Well, I guess a personal experience by that, but because I got hurt in one of those situations, so I'm all for being safe. If any safety measures, literally any, had been put in place, maybe I wouldn't have gotten hurt, or maybe things would have ended up a little differently. Hindsight's 2020 on that factor. But
tell me what happened with your
why?
concussions. I'm curious about that.
Have you ever been on a dive team,
No,
MUROPS team, or dive team?
no, no, not a water guy at all.
Well, so I went down to the dive team. We planned a maritime operation out in Astoria, Oregon, right there by the Columbia River, right?
Yeah, where Goonies was filmed.
Yeah, yeah. So we're at Camp Rylea, and the plan was to go do a beach landing seizure dry run. I get that that's a oxymoron there, but a dry run during the day, and
Try.
then we were going to do it at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had, instead of the 12-man team, we had 10 guys with us, and we it's we were supposed to be out in 3 to 5 foot waves, and we were out in 12 to 15 foot waves.
Boy.
And we had a very inexperienced team in the boats, and so we go out and we kicked out the or the swimmers that were to swim to the beach, and we were still in the surf. And as soon as the two guys got out, we were super light. Our engine was too small for the level of surf that we were in. And as soon as we turned out to go back out to sea to try and find some calmer water, I was up on the front right of the boat, and I got launched up into the air on this wave, and then I fell all the way back down onto my head and got knocked out. So, and then about 30 minutes later, I got hit again with the engine, trying to set the engine on the transom. We're trying to right the boat, so I set the engine down, and that got washed in my head. So, and then another thing that I've thought about more after is we got to the point that we were so exhausted we couldn't flip the boat over anymore. So we would just get hit with a big wave and then go and like swim and drape ourselves over the boat. And this just kept happening for another, I don't know, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. And
Holy shit.
so I guess to sum it up, I got hit pretty hard in the head twice, and then I got the shit kicked out of me for an hour and a half or 2 hours or something like that, all the way to shore.
Wow.
And the team sergeant didn't want to start an investigation, which I totally understand because he's a fucking huge piece of shit. So he kept me there, and I hit my head on a door frame the next day trying to get into the TMP, and then I fell and hit my head on the concrete. Uh, Fell backwards. And
Man,
so
bad things happen in threes.
that it was I would have recovered from the first two, but the third one, all the symptoms from every time I've been hit in the head my whole life all came back, and I just I got really sick. I went to bed. I didn't come back to work at the company for about a month and a half, for about 45 days. And I was so fucked up, even when I did come back, that my first doctor's appointment back on post after I came back to work, I threw up because I was so dizzy at that appointment. And that was a month and a half after I got hit.
I was just gonna say, how long
So,
after was that? Holy cow.
yeah.
That's
So,
crazy.
uh, the TBI clinic's like, you're going to get medically retired. And I'm like, the fuck I am. So I went back into the compound, and I just never went back to the TBI clinic, not for years. I just kind of disappeared until I got to battalion. And then we came down on orders for Afghanistan, and then I got medically retired during that process. So, but it's
Damn.
I took it really hard. I was pretty broken up about it, but I get to do some pretty cool stuff right now as
Nice.
a result of stopping drinking and making lesser known operators. So I'm okay with it now. I wasn't okay with it then, but, as a result, but that's the only I do point out that people I love special forces. I'm very proud. I was always meant to be a Green Beret, an 18 Charlie. That was the only role within special operations where I think I would have been happy looking at with interviewing everybody I do interview and hearing about all the different units and all the cool guy stuff and everybody gets to do. I was born to be an 18 Charlie. Hands
Nice.
down. That was it. That was the job for me. And I really am proud that I got to do that. At least I got to get my beret and I got to do that. I did some cool things and but I wasn't meant to be anywhere else and I'm going to try and help other people, but that's the other side of it. I'm pretty honest that it's a great unit. It's a really cool and really rewarding lifestyle, and it's a lot better than the regular army, at least the regular army that I was in. But
Yeah.
experiences may vary. You know, you can go to a bad team. There are bad team sergeants, there's bad teams, there's bad leaders. And so then I went from that to great leadership that took care of me the rest of the time I was in. And I had a great experience the rest of the time I was in. So just
Good.
hit or
Nice.
miss.
Right. Oh yeah, I've had hit or miss. I know that. I know that rigmarole. I've been on both sides of it. You know, I know there's guys who probably look at me and like, I love working with Chris. And then there's guys who look at me like, man, it sucked working with Chris. But you do your best, you know. You do your best, you put your best foot forward your entire career. And I ended on a high note, which was really nice.
Oh,
Yeah. A good company command team, man. And what made us good, I think, is that I was already on my way out. So I'm not trying to make CW4. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not trying to get any marks on my OER. I don't care at that point. I just want to have a good rest of my time in the army. So when you have that clarity, when you don't care about that stuff anymore, you if you're in a good spot, you can really care about the guys. Like you can really, really care about the guys. I was able to just connect with a lot of the team leadership, and I found myself in a role that I did not know was something that a warrant officer did at the company level was actually kind of helping some of the captains through some of their stuff because and it makes sense when you think about it. A captain isn't going to want to go to the major with some shit he can't figure out, you know, because he doesn't want to look dumb in front of his major. So he goes to weird Uncle Chris in the office next door, and it's like, hey, you know, I'm like the bad uncle who gave him alcohol when they were 14, you know, so they can trust me a little more. So the captains would come to me with some of their stuff, and I was able to help them through some scenarios, you know, and I found that really rewarding. I did not know that that's the position that or some of the stuff that I would be doing in that position. So that was really, really awesome. And then we had a sergeant major who was in the same boat as me. His name's Chris. I'll leave his last name out, but he very respected guy in the community, very respected guy in 10th group. And he had the same attitude. He was like, man, I'm done in like a year. I'm not trying to climb any walls. I don't really care about my next position. It's not a big deal. So I'm really just going to care about the guys. So we were able to just create a good atmosphere for the company. I think a lot of the teams at that time were pleased with the way the and the sergeant major and myself were running the company. And that was just really rewarding, man. What I figured out from 21 years of service is that you have to want to go to work. You have to want to go and be in a space where morale is good and people are taking care of you. I mean, I'm sure we can go down this road too. I'm sure you've been in a toxic environment or, you know, a bad team and it just eats you up. So if you can defeat that from the top down and just keep a good atmosphere, I think just keeping the guys happy and caring about them is super important.
Yeah, what you're describing there is, there's no restrictions, right? Because our careers are career oriented, not orientated, oriented, if we're looking to progress, right? And then we just take all those pathways away, go, I'm just here to finish out my time, and then it's like, look, there's no more bullshit,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
because somebody can tell you something and go, yeah, hey, sir, great job. I'm not going to fucking do that. And there's
Yeah,
good in that and there's bad in that. That's not really the army way, but that
I
is
know.
kind of, you're going to get an honest response out of somebody when they bring you something and go, yeah, listen, I'm glad you put this together, but we're not going to do that. And here's why.
Yeah,
And
right.
there's no, so there's good and there's bad in that. But I think there needs to be a mix for more success. But yeah, there is things in that, and you find, hey, I just want to take care of the guys. I just want to do what I was told or what I came here to do, which was
Yeah.
be a GB, right? To lead, mentor soldiers, my NCOs coming up underneath me and do the job. So, things change, generations change, and command changes, and that's a whole nother discussion. I'm sure you saw the different levels of leadership and the styles change over the entirety of the GY.
Oh yeah.
Even some people, I put up a team patch the other day, and the people messaging me about the the great patch purge in 2016, I think they told me, or something like that, where the team patches had to be approved by the colonel and things. And I go, what caused that? So there's cause and effect, right? There's all these things of why things change, but it's nice to enjoy coming to work, to have a good time. There's nothing worse than waking up and dreading what you're about to go do.
I know.
It's one of the worst things that there can be out there. And it just eats you alive, as you said.
Yeah. Yeah, just creating a good atmosphere. And maybe we weren't the best shit hot company, but dudes were happy. Those teams were motivated, and they when we deployed our last deployment, they all fucking knocked it out of the park. So I was proud of that. I was proud to work with that command team and end on a high note. Because it could have gone very south. I could have had a major who was very career driven, very officer oriented, not about the guys. Same thing with the sergeant major. I could have had a sergeant major who was by the book, by the book, just freaking, blouse and boots and making dudes get haircuts and worrying about all that crap about that stuff.
No, no, we don't. There was one phrase that it kept becoming, and I wasn't in SF for very long, but even from the time I got there until I left, and then people were telling me afterwards is, if so and so was in command, this wouldn't be an issue. And then I heard it again like another year later. It's like, man, if so and so was running things, we'd be on full per diem, and then we wouldn't have to deal with any of this. And then it's like, and then that phrase got progressively like more restrictive of thinking back to the how things used to be. And I don't know. I don't know if that's for good or if bad, but I look at it now as like cause and effect. Like what happened to make things change, right? And part of it is if people are around that remember how things used to be and how they were fun, because things are fun when there's no rules.
Yeah,
And
sure.
in the early part of the 2000s,
It's great.
there it was people were making shit up as they go along, and
Hmm.
then lessons learned, and the war dragged on, and there becomes, hey, we can't be doing this anymore. That's not going to fly. Different
Right.
ROE and different missions and restrictions and different administrations and things like that. But I guess that's a whole nother discussion of why things change and everything like that. But that's
And then
that's what
morph.
the deal is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I watched it. I watched SF morph from, I got out of the Q course in December of '06, and then, spent all my time at 10th group, never left, and, watched the unit change and shift. I've been in the I've been in the room with some very high level people, and I've heard them say some things before that I was like, huh, that's pretty wild how that happened. So you can sit in a room with a 1 star or somebody with stars on their chest and watch them move chess pieces and how quickly it happens. Like back in the day when, like, around '08, there were guys in 10th Maine who were like, we're never going to Afghanistan. Never. Well, they'll never send us. It's not going to happen. They were just set on it. And dudes wanted to tap out because they're like, man, we'll never get our slice at Afghanistan. I sat in a room and I listened to a general say, hey, I'm going to need some help from you guys here shortly in the future. And that's how quickly that changed. A few years later, full on, we've got entire companies in Afghanistan rolling deep, you know. It's just
Which just
funny
shows
that
you how little of the pie that we have a view of, right? We have so
yeah,
at the
yeah,
team level, you know what the team's doing. At the company, you kind of know what the company's doing, but not really. You just got there and you're trying to figure out how the company works. And then you're at battalion and you're just like, oh, I got 3 companies. I got BSC and I got this and I gotta work these relationships. And then you kind of find out when you're at battalion, you're like, not only do I not know what I'm doing, group doesn't know what they're doing, and the companies don't know what they're doing either.
yeah, and
And
it
then
can
the
get
guys in the
switched
team
like
room
that.
are bitching about everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and literally generals up top can just wave their hand. They can make a comment
Mhm.
in a non-decision making brief. They can make a comment, and they can move entire battalions. And and so what I learned from that is I would try to tell younger dudes like if there's something not happening with your career or something right now or your team or your company, and this is for all you guys out there coming into the regiment, uh, just wait. Just wait. Just sit on it a little bit, stay on your team, and stuff changes. And you'll find yourself in different places immediately. Like next year, you're gonna be like, oh, I did not know I was gonna be here doing this shit, man. That's what's cool about SF. It can change and morph. And especially with this climate right now, like I don't even want to speculate where we're gonna end up, man. They're gonna be ODAs in Greenland. I don't know, dude.
I think we're everywhere already. I don't think there's anywhere that we're not.
Yeah.
And it it's just, it's and I mean, when I say I think we're everywhere already, if we have to do a layover somewhere, I mean, we gotta plan a R&R day here, to go through somewhere. So, at any given time, we're somewhere,
Yeah.
whether it's an exotic location or a shitty location, but we're everywhere all at the same time. And,
Yeah.
no, who knows what things are gonna be right. Just wait. It's just like the weather in Florida. Just wait a few minutes. It's gonna change. And
Exactly. That's what it's like here in Colorado too. Like we can have snow. It dumped on us like last week, and then now it's like 60 degrees out. And
I'm flying into Watkins or into Denver tomorrow morning and then going up to
okay.
Watkins. And it's like 50 degrees today and it's going to be 29 when I get there and snowing. And I mean, I'm a civilian cadre, so I'm going to be out there. I'm going to have all my nice warm clothes. I'm going to have gloves. It's not going to be like
Leveled
anything
up.
when we're yeah, I'm going to be, except you might think this is funny. Here, last night I'm going through the house, and, as you can see here, I was label chasing Patagonia. And I'm like a little kid last night I'm throwing uniforms. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't find a single pair of Patagonia pants in this house. And I'm like, what if the boys like, I can't have regular army pants. Where the fuck are my Patagonia pants? Like I'm a child, I've got 6 Patagonia tops. I can't find a single pair of pants in this whole
Well,
house. And I'm like,
you're a
what?
civilian cadre, dude. You can like buy some cry shit or something, right?
I'm but I'm like, "What if the guys don't think I'm cool?" I'm like, "Oh, man,"
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
I
I
was
mean, that's
trying
what.
I was trying to make it out I was trying to write it out so I could make a skit, but I sounded like a little fucking bitch, I'm like, "Oh, fuck. Well, these uniforms, they don't work as well as the issued ones."
No, right. That's funny.
So I dug up all this stuff last night, and my wife's like, "Well, go through your boxes out in the garage." I was like, "No, it's cold out there. I don't wanna go in."
Yeah. I'm looking for that snivel gear. I don't have that snivel gear to go out there to look for that snivel gear.
Yeah, I don't have the
Yeah.
stuff. I'm a little fucking baby. But anyway, I'm gonna be out there. It's cold, and I'm like, oh fuck, But here it's gonna be low of -15 tomorrow night. I'm like, fuck that. Oh, nothing
Where
happens to
are
the
you?
house while I'm gone. Yeah, we're getting no. I'm just in Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin, but we're just getting a blast of cold. So it's
Yeah.
whatever. It's winter, man. I think it's just winter. If I could go fishing, I would, but I'm gonna go hang out with some candidates out in Watkins. So
Oh
another
yeah.
thing about you never know the slice of the pie that you've got going on. So I was on the B team and we were in Korea for KRFE. That's Key Resolve Full Eagle. It's the big American slash Korean exercise that happens in I think the first quarter of every year or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was running one lane. I was an OC for one lane, and then I was helping with another one. So my lane, they had to jump in, but the jump was canceled because of weather. So they got notionally jumped in, right? So I'm standing in the middle of the drop zone, and then they get dropped off in trucks
Yeah. The truck jump.
right around me, and I'm
The old
like,
truck
and I
jump.
go, all right, and I walk past I walk past the warrant and the captain. I was like, the major's in the tree line watching you. Fucking be careful. And they're like, appreciate it. And so I gave them what they were supposed to do, and they moved out, got in the bread truck, and then we went and almost caused an international incident, but we
So
we're doing our thing, and then we wrap up the whole. Oh man, it was so. I'm in the passenger seat of this truck, and I've got a driver, and he's a specialist, and I'm like, oh, this is too easy, right? We're just doing Robin Sage, bread truck infill. They're all in the back. I got fucking the shit hiding them and stuff. I'm not even there. I'm invisible. The driver's communicating with them. I'm just hanging out. I'm playing on my phone and all this, and we get stopped at a real checkpoint in the fucking middle of nowhere in Korea. And I don't speak
a
Korean. My
real
driver doesn't
checkpoint.
speak Korean. A real checkpoint, and I don't know I'm like, fuck. What, like, because in America, you get stopped at a checkpoint and there's fucking guys in the back with automatic guns. Those cops have real bullets. And I'm fucking freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, are we going to fucking get in trouble here? Because I can hear them through the wall, the blank, like lock and load blanks. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is not going to be good. They
Like,
think
yeah,
they're
dudes.
coming up to a real check mark. I expect
Yeah.
them to start to swing out and start laying waste to the checkpoint.
Do they know?
And
Do the dudes in the
finally,
back don't know?
they think it's real. They think
They
they're
think
getting
it's
stopped and they're going to get searched.
okay. Yeah.
And I told them after we were done, I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm glad you didn't pop out of the back of the bread truck and start shooting blanks because that was a real checkpoint.
Yeah. You would have
Anyway, the
got
cop
shot.
finally let us go. He let us go. And I'm like, oh God. And then we kick them out and they went on the most horrendous infill that anybody's ever done in the history of Korea. One guy
Nice.
walked off a mountain. We had a real life jungle penetrator use because he fell into this ravine. It was a disaster, right? It was just a huge disaster. So we did the AAR and I'm talking with the team leader and he goes, man, so they're on the Stennis. I think they were on the Stennis. So it was him, it was the team sergeant, and the warrant. And he's like, we're in with the 4-star. And he's describing, so the 4-star's got a wall like this, right? It's all digital. And you've got the entire Pacific Ocean with every ship that he was in command of. And
Yeah.
there's hundreds of them. And then he's like, well, you see these dots over here? This is a Chinese fishing fleet that's trying to penetrate our defenses over there. And he's describing everything he has to deal with. And the captain, he told me, he's like, I thought I knew about special forces and about the military. And I'm looking at this and he's going, I don't know jack shit about anything.
Yeah. He's playing
And
that they're
I
actually
go, yeah.
looking at the world map.
Yeah, yeah, of real units and all this other stuff. And he said, I was looking at it and I go, we don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
You don't know the part you have to play. You've got such a little piece of the puzzle, and that's just kind of how it is until you get to see how things work at the
Yeah.
next level and the next level.
Yeah.
It's all fascinating to me. So at least in the position I'm in now, I get to hear about all these cool things that people do and how they all
Yeah, it's
fit
neat.
together. And
What's the
it
highest
is,
rank
man.
Have you had like oh fives or oh sixes on the show?
I had a couple colonels. Colonel Sullivan from Third Group came on. Uh,
Nice.
he
Cool.
was he had a good line. He had one in his show that I always remembers. He said, as it applies to team leaders, right? This you might understand this one. He said he would sit down with his new captains and he'd say, "The ODA doesn't need you. You can either be a team leader or a team mascot, and you got to figure out how to do each of those." And that's kind of what he would tell his new officers. The team needs a leader. It doesn't need a mascot. And I'm sure you encountered that when you got to the team, is kind of what you were describing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, that leadership, it smacks you right in the face, and you're like, damn, I thought I was just gonna be a cool guy on a team again, man. And now I gotta make a decision that's potentially gonna piss off the entire team. So but exactly, they don't need a mascot. They need a leader. They need guys to make those decisions. I don't know. I'm making it out to sound like it's some horrible, horrible thing. I love being on a team and I love being next to the guys. So whatever.
If it if it
Maybe
was
I'm
that
jealous.
bad, there wouldn't be majors resigning their commission to go be warrants. It would be the other way around. There would be warrants going to be commissioned officers, and you
Wow.
don't see
Yeah.
that as often.
Yeah. I have a friend who resigned. I think he was an '04 promotable. He worked at Swick at one point. He was like a company or I don't know, one of the training majors down there or something. He was an '04 promotable and he came back and went to the Warren Force. It's funny.
That's got to be
Yeah.
a tough decision.
I know. But I mean, I think he retired, he gets his highest pay grade when he retires, so that's pretty
You
cool.
do, yeah. You retire as an '04.
Yeah, which is I think that's a pretty good pension.
It's better than mine.
Yeah, me too.
So you get out, and you said you got linked up with me by watching Nick Merrick over at Green Beret Racing's
Yeah.
episode. You said you raced for them when he first started out.
Yeah, so all right, yeah, I'll start there, but at some point we should talk about when I was a CAO because that leads into my racing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
let's go with that,
so
man. I mean, for
well,
everybody at home, CAO is a casualty assistance officer when somebody dies in service or at their unit. A senior non-commissioned officer who is supposed to have been through the casualty assistance officer course is assigned to assist the family of the deceased.
right,
Had
right,
you been through the course?
yeah, like a week prior,
Okay.
and thank God. I mean, because I was teed up on it, but and then I'd been through probably 4 or 5 times before. When you get to the rank of I think E7, you just have to go all the time. They're like, hey, we need guys to be qualified for CAO, CNO, and you go do the training, and it's one of those things you're like, that's never going to happen to me. You know that that doesn't happen to people. And then I worked in the advanced skills company in 10th group, and I won't get into my job too much, but right down the hallway was another detachment, and separate skill set, advanced skill set. And the team sergeant was a friend of mine. I'd known him for years and years. I met him. His name's Ryan. I met Ryan in like seven in Iraq or something. And then, we crossed paths throughout our careers for the next, 15 years or whatever, whatever the timeline was. So I'd known him for a long time. And Ryan and I would always talk about dirt bikes because I used to race. I raced when I was a kid. I was in a motocross, as a teenager pretty heavily. And so I was always sharing stories with him, and he's always, trying to get me to. He's like, "Why don't you get a bike? Why don't you get a bike?" Because I didn't have any bikes at the time. I was done. I hadn't ridden dirt bikes in decades, right? But Ryan's always telling all these stories. It's like, man, I go riding after work. I see his trailer. He's got his bike in his trailer. So, I was like, man, maybe I should get a bike. So anyway, I go to the CAO training. I'm thinking, this is just my annual thing. I'm not this doesn't happen to people. Nobody gets called for this. I'm laying on my floor watching TV on a Friday evening with my daughter. I'm watching like, I don't know, some Disney movie or something. and I get a phone call, and it's the major. It's the company commander. So when the company commander's calling you on a Friday evening, why is he calling? He's not calling to see how I'm doing. Uh, so he said, "Hey, I love the guy. I can't fault him. I don't know. There's no way to deliver information, or there's no etiquette. There's no training on how to tell somebody that they're about to go do this." So he's like, "So you went to CAO last week, right? So you're current qualified?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "All right. Well, right now I am assigning you as the casualty assistance officer for the family of Ryan." That's how he told me that Ryan passed. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like my talk about your world just flipping upside down, like in one 10-second phone conversation. My world just flipped upside down. First of all, Ryan was dead. That that was shocking in itself. This guy works right down the hall from me that I've known forever. Um, had passed away. Now, my regular job doesn't mean jack. In the army, when you're assigned as this, they're like everything else stops. Like all you focus on right now is assisting that family until they're complete with all of the things they need to be complete with. So it was super shocking. It was a big deal. So, I went out and I dusted off well, they were already undusty because you're supposed to have a squared away uniform, in case you get called up for this. So, I had to go see the family the next day, the next
Yeah.
morning. I'm getting up on a Saturday, putting on my, what do they call it? The bus driver uniform. What are the ASUs? Army students?
ASU is the blue one. Yeah.
The blues. Yeah. Yeah. God, I'm dating myself now. Not greens. So the ASUs. Put my ASUs on and then go start that journey, I guess you could say. Did not know Ryan's family, but sure enough, I knew them very well after a few more weeks. And yeah, it sucked, man. It sucked. So the catalyst for me riding dirt bikes and getting back in was the passing of Ryan, because he passed. There's a riding area here near right down the road from Fort Carson. It's called Fountain Creek Riding Area, and it's just this private land, but there's these really awesome dirt bike trails. And that was Ryan's favorite place to go riding, and that's where he passed. That's where he succumbed to his medical problems. So he died while he was riding, and he didn't die from a crash. He had a heart issue, and I won't go into that. Something with his heart, but he just went out like a light on riding his bike in the woods, and our friend Cody was right behind him and watched him go down. And then Cody worked on him for a while. That's what Cody told me. But Ryan was gone. He was gone just out like a light. So they had a memorial for Ryan.
So he passed away. I mean, being a casualty assistance officer is a tough process. There's no, and you just kind of got to be stoic with it and just matter of fact and do everything. You're right. I mean, your job, it's the same. It's the military customs and courtesies equivalent of gas, gas, gas. That's all you do until the threat, and then you go
Yeah,
back to what you're doing.
right. Yeah. So getting, I mean, I was honored. I was absolutely honored. I wasn't gonna even remotely not do that duty to its fullest extent. Like I was just
Yeah.
gonna do the best I could possibly do for his family. And it was great to get to know them. It was great to help them transition on and watch them transition into their new life. But it was tough. It takes an emotional toll on everybody. Obviously, them, obviously, first and foremost, them. But as the guy, you have to be stoic the whole time, right? You have to go in and be a pro the whole time. So you're really just you're stuffing a lot of those feelings. You're stuffing a lot of those emotions. You don't necessarily get to mourn yourself because you're not supposed to be there to do that. You're supposed to be there as a
Right.
pro to get them everything that the army is going to do for them and make sure all those process systems and processes happen the way they should. Because man, they're in such a I mean, I can't imagine anyone think about losing my spouse. They can't think about any of that stuff at that moment. Any of those decisions, like what am I going to do with my savings? What do I do with my house? All the things that are just like bum rushing them, right? So they do need that assistance through that process. I think it's really great that the army does it. I mean, it's got its flaws, some of the systems, the SOPs we have, they could use some tweaking, but all in all, I think it's a really great thing that the army does for people. Yeah, man. So the day, a few days after Ryan passed, they actually had a memorial out where at the exact place where he passed away, and they put in a marker, like a homemade. It was kind of like a plaque. It's like a motorcycle tire, and it's got a plaque on it, and they put it in the ground, so it's like a permanent piece where he passed away. So they had a memorial there that day, and I saw Green Beret Racing. I saw Nick Merrick and all his guys. They had their Green Beret Racing stuff on, and they were all had their bikes, and they just looked jolly as hell. They're having a good old time riding. That day, I went to like right after that memorial, I went to a motorcycle shop and bought 3 bikes. That was it. Yeah. Like full on, full. All right. I was like, all right, I am back into this hobby 100%. Bought one for me, bought one for my daughter, bought one for my son. And
A salesman
they,
was happy to see you.
oh, yeah, dude. I went and just dropped all this cash on, and I was like, man, I'm getting back into riding. That was it. So my kids were kind of into it for a little bit, but not really. So then I ended up just selling my son's bike and bought myself another bike. Before I knew it, dude, I had a whole garage full of KTMs. And yeah, man, was loving racing, was getting really heavily into racing, and was loving Green Beret Racing. It was super fun. I love the camaraderie and being a part of that team thing. That was really neat. Because when you get out and you don't have a team, it's like, man, I'm not on a team anymore. Kind of blows. So
It does. It does. And I say on the show, I've said this, this is probably the thing I say the most is we don't start to feel better until we create our own team or join somebody else's. And every time everybody goes, yep, that's it. We don't realize it until there's nobody around anymore and you're just by yourself and you go, "Oh, this sucks," because at least when you're at the company, even if you're just if you're a warrant or you're the company commander, there's other company commanders. Unless you're and I got this pulled this out of DeLucia, the first group sergeant major. He goes, "It's pretty lonely at group. Like, you don't have anybody. The commander doesn't have anybody. I don't have anybody. Chief warrant officer doesn't have anybody. Everybody else has got other people, you can go around and see, but he's like, it's pretty lonely at group. But if you're anywhere else, at least you got some people you can go hang out with. But
yeah,
when that ends, to say it lightly, it's a fucking bummer.
yeah, man. Uh, I think a lot of guys don't know that, and I'm glad the message is getting out there a lot more. People like yourselves doing this podcast, just getting guys out of their shells and talking, I think is great. Hearing people's stories, listening to their stories, and then getting, it's neat when guys do stuff like this. It points them into other directions too. They might find or link up with somebody else they didn't know was doing something. Like, wow, maybe I can be a part of that thing. That's what happened to me with Green Beret Racing, and I think that's kind of the message I'm saying to guys is like, yeah, go out there and find something, man. You know, go find that
Anything.
team.
Go find anything. Anything.
Yeah,
And whatever you find is gonna turn into something that you don't expect. I get to go hang out with a fucking ODA of GBs tomorrow, and I don't know how they feel about me because they all invited me out once, and now I'm like a little kid. Like I said, I'm going around my house like a fucking child, throwing my Patagonia uniforms around, going, "Where the fuck are my bottoms?" I don't wanna look look poor in front of the cool kids, you know? And I'm a grown man. I'm almost 40 years old, and I get to go hang out with the team again, you know, and hang out with the boys, and that's a cool thing. So, just do something, and other things will come out of it. You just gotta be around people like you, or even just relatively close, and something good will come out of it, you know?
Yeah. That's funny, like, you look like a little kid. I was the same way, dude. I was out for my son's 21st birthday, and we were just at a sushi restaurant, like, off the beaten path sushi restaurant, and we're near the back room. There's a giant private back room, and in walks probably 16 dudes who are just yoked, young, really in shape,
Just came from
and
Pilates. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, right. But these dudes, after a while, you can kind of sniff out who's who in the zoo. I don't think
yeah.
this was a
Oh, yeah.
team. I don't think it was an ODA. I think it may have been a troop from
Okay.
somebody.
Yeah,
They had some army stuff on, so I think it was a troop from some certain folks. Maybe I'm just
yeah.
speculating, or it could have been a team from another maybe another group in town doing something. But it definitely, by the looks of the guys and the way they were acting and the way they were carrying themselves, I was like, okay, those are not junior guys, so that's not a. I don't think that's an ODA. Because you can usually kind of sniff out and kind of see who the younger guys are because they're I don't know. These guys just looked troopish, if you will. But I was the same way. I was like, hey guys, you know, like, hey, I'm just out with
What's
my son right
what's
now. I used to be in special forces too.
I you say random sushi restaurant, man, I've me and a couple buddies, we were in Japan once, and we found this off the beaten path, all you can drink sushi restaurant, and they kicked us out of that place because we drank too much. So, there's fun to be had everywhere as long as you're with the right people. So,
Damn.
but you are right, you know, you can there's the groups are not the same, and you start adopting, like, the mannerisms of your AOR, like, your 5th group and 1st group, those aren't the same. Those aren't even
No,
close to the same,
no,
let alone you're in fucking Kentucky and Washington State. That's not the same country even. You're not even living in the same country if you're in those parts of the state
Kentucky's not
of
America.
the US. No, no, we're in different sides of the whole thing here, and,
Yeah, dude.
no, there's no you can have guys and they're completely different, and then team sergeant too. I mean, if the team sergeant's like, "We're gonna be strong," you're gonna be a strong team. If we're gonna be running, you're gonna run. So, it just depends, but
Or if you're gonna be
uh,
lazy.
from what I've gathered, from talking to a few people, and I don't know jack shit, this is just the few opinions that I've gotten. Uh, Special missions units guys are more physically standardized. Like there's like the more this is way too much muscle unless you're a superior cardio athlete where you can fuel this much muscle. Like there's a kind of a size and kind of a weight for most of the dudes, and that fluctuates a little bit, but not like group where you'll have one dude that's 7'1", 350 pounds, and another guy that's like
Yeah,
4'11" and can
yeah,
bench 700 pounds. And it's like, and
yeah,
you got everybody in between there. So it's
yeah. They're
more
all
of a
cut a little
specialized
tighter.
size, but I could be wrong because, well, it's kind of mission dictated. So that's what I've pieced together. But again, I have no fucking idea. That's just one of the few stories that people have told me. So, but
Yeah, me
you know,
too. Just from knowing dudes, I was never in the unit, and I know a lot of those guys, so that's all I know is just from what they've told me. So I don't
yeah.
claim to be an expert on that at all. For all the viewers out there, I
As I point out
don't
many
know jack
times on
shit
this
about
show,
it.
I don't know shit about fuck.
After being in the army for 21 years, not only I mean you can just sniff out a service member, but you can sniff out a soft guy pretty quick if you
Is
meet
it
somebody
is
out
it
in
the ball
public or
cap?
something, or you can sniff out a guy who wants to be soft, those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
It's like
that's
the
all
kids
right
in the
too.
airport
That's
with,
all right too.
like, the kids in the airport who have they've like, got all their Molly gear that they're flying with. Like, "Alright, I see."
What's nice now is, when I'm in the airport, which I'll be in the airport tomorrow, and nobody will see this because this won't post for 3 weeks, but I've got a pocket full of stickers, and if I just see somebody with military stuff, I just give them a sticker, and, I'll get a
Nice.
follower or maybe somebody 'cause I've had a couple people come up to recognize me, which is a really cool feeling. I was
Oh,
blown
that's
away by
great,
that, but
dude.
I just give them if I see them with their gear, I just give them a sticker because it's
That's
those
cool.
stickers, they'll put it on something that's advertising, it'll go somewhere, and then I'll notice I'll get a follower, and then I'll get a couple of their friends they'll tell them about, so that was a big thing, I was flying during holiday block leave for basic training, and I was handing those things out to basic trainees and stickers and stuff, and so it's never it's never a bad time to advertise if you're just giving people something. I don't say anything. I just say, "Here, have a sticker," and I don't say anything else. And I don't know. It's my little technique, but it makes it easier for me to find the people if they've got all their standard issue military stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, here, have a sticker." You jump heavy back into riding,
Yeah,
and you sold your son's bike, and then you got another bike for yourself, but
yeah.
when did you is that pretty much the point that you joined up with Nick and his team over at Green Beret Racing?
Yeah. Yeah, I was all in. I think a month after I bought my first bike, I was already in my first race. I was like, "These guys are out doing it. I'm gonna go do it." Like, why not? And then just started doing enduro races. Yeah, loved it.
What are we talking like 125, 250, 500?
Enduro, so on the enduro side, I was on 350. I was on
Okay.
350, a 354 stroke for a while, and then I had a 300 two-stroke. A really big bike. That's the bike that almost killed me. Yeah. Yeah. So enduro racing, super fun. Do you ride at all? Are you familiar with riding or anything like that?
No, my neighbor rode when I lived on the farm, and by neighbor, I mean, it was pretty far away, the neighbor, but he had dirt bikes, and, no, we didn't have any money for that stuff, I didn't get into it. I was more into sports than wrestling, but,
Nice.
I've crashed my BMX bike quite a few times when I was a kid. I just never could get comfortable in the air after taking off, after going over jumps. I just could not get comfortable doing it, so it wasn't something that I was gonna be good at.
You get in the air and you're like,
Yeah, you just
ah,
you know,
oh yeah.
I might be better with it now, but I'm definitely not gonna get into it now, so not with not with a lengthy list of concussions that I have. So I'm good now, but no, it was just something I don't think I would have been comfortable doing that racing motorcycles. So wasn't my thing.
Yeah, it was exciting to get back into it at a late stage in life. So I was it's almost bittersweet how it happened. I got into it because of Ryan passing. He motivated me. That event motivated me to do something. Got heavily into riding and racing. I would go out to the motocross track like once a week, sometimes twice a week, just rip around. I was like, man, I'm gonna get really good at this. And did a whole bunch of races. I find, one of my bucket list items was to race Supercross at my age. I did. A couple years ago, I raced Supercross, and the kids in my class. I was just in a C class. It was a C class guy, whatever. I was racing against like kids. Like I'm looking, you're looking across on the line, and they're like, their dads are next to them, like mentoring them, and I'm like, "Where's my dad?" It was fun. So it
All
was
right,
it was
all right, Chris. You lean into the corners, come out fast, don't hit, stay off the brake.
yeah, yeah. And these dirty little kids, man, some of those kids, they're just like wild on the track, cutthroat.
What do
I
you
wasn't
mean?
ready for that. I was telling my wife last night how aggressive Supercross is in the stadium, and just I wasn't ready for it. I was like, whoa, whoa, this is like a contact sport. It was
Are
fun
they
though.
are they kicking you? Are they throwing elbows or what?
No, not no. I wouldn't say throwing elbows, but on the turns and stuff, there's collisions on turns a lot. Like the places that pass people are on those sharp turns, so you can cut somebody off and practically run into them, and they have nowhere to go, and they're just like, oh, I guess I'll just drive off the berm here because that guy just stuffed me. Just got stuffed by
Yeah.
some 16-year-old kid. But
Well, you're gonna have to kick the shit out of him and his dad in the parking lot later.
dude, this one kid coming off the track got mad at me or something. So we're coming off the final lap. We come off the track, and he goes by me, like revs his, and he's like, "Wah!" It's like trying to pick a fight with me. And I almost followed him back to his pit, and I was like, I can't, I can't engage in this. I'm probably older than his father. His father is probably 42. I roll up like, "What's up, young man? What seems to be the problem?" But yeah,
It
so
made for a great story, though.
yeah, arrested in the pit. Retired Green Beret beats up a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, that would have been, it's especially where you live, that would have been the title of the front page. Retired Green Beret beats child up, or
Oh my
something like
God.
that.
Would have thrown from the book at me. So anyway, fast forward. I raced for a few years, was loving it, was very, very into it. Was getting good, was getting fast, which was I was really proud of myself. I was an amateur motocross rider. I can proudly say that. Like when I was younger, I couldn't imagine to have been a being at the amateur level. So like just getting back into it and getting to that level and learning that much. And I had a bunch of wins last year. I had a bunch of first places. That was pretty awesome. And then it all went sour, man. I had a wicked, wicked crash, man. So this track I always go to and I've raced on dozens of times. I've hit this one jump, this big uphill double jump. I've hit this thing probably 200 times, right? Never a problem. It's a pretty big jump though. It's a pretty big commitment. You're up there and you got to go up over another. It's like an uphill step up. And I was on my 300, which I usually don't ride the motocross track, right? But I just go out there. I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll just rip around. I know all these jumps by heart. I've done them 100 times. Because my son was riding my other bike that day. He was just kind of putting around on my motorbike, on my motocross bike. So I hit this jump. I come up a little short, and after I come up over the top, my landing was fine, but I did this thing called a whiskey throttle. So it threw all my weight back on the bike, and I lost my balance. And what that does is it pulls on the throttle because your body's just trying to hang on, but you're pulling on the throttle at the same time, which sends you
Yeah.
like a bat out of hell straight ahead at whatever's in front of you because you're totally out of control. I was totally out of control, and I smashed right into I wouldn't call it a wall, but a dirt berm, which was 90 degrees. It was a 90-degree piece of dirt. And I smashed right into it, full throttle, hit it just unbelievably violently, and went over the handlebars, like hit the bike, went over. There was enough force to throw the bike over and then threw me over the bike, probably 20 feet. Like I just went flying. And I hit the ground so hard. I stood up. I tried to stand up, and I couldn't breathe at all. Wind was completely knocked out of me. And within 1 or 2 seconds, everything went black. And I thought that was it. I thought I went out and I saw some funny pictures and had some really weird hallucinations. And then I came to and I was on the track. Some guy found me. I had So they call an ambulance, right? The ambulance comes out. I've got a dislocated femur. My femur popped out of the hip on the front. So my femur's out on the front. So I'm totally jacked. I can't move. I've got at least one broken rib, which is terrible. When you break a rib, it's just like the worst thing ever. I can't understand it. And I think my wrist may have been sprained. And what sucks, you know how it is when you get hurt, the nausea.
Yeah.
You do you remember that from your accidents?
Yeah. A few. Yeah, I do. I mean, you get knocked around the head a lot. You can get nauseous. If you get nauseous, that's not a great sign. But I know you take a bad blow to the, especially deep blow, like your leg, and you got a lot of pain there, and or you break something, you get that nauseous feeling you're gonna throw up. Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. So,
Yeah, it's
but
terrible.
this isn't practice, right? That
Yeah,
this wasn't a race. This was practice.
yeah, just hanging out. Yeah, just riding around, not an actual race. Some other dude found me, so I came to. I was all jacked up. They call an ambulance. I'm sitting there, and what sucks is it's like 85 degrees out, and the sun is just blaring on me, and I'm nauseous. I feel like I'm gonna puke everywhere. So the ambulance gets there. They pump me full of anti-nausea. Uh, I was scared. It was just very scary. And then they take me to the hospital and an ambulance ride. I love it. It was only like a 20-minute ride, but it was like $4,500. It's like, what the fuck, man? Who Where do they justify those prices? I mean,
The insurance company sets the price, so that's just what they charge.
insane, dude. So I get to the hospital. This is cool. I'm in the ER and I'm all wonky and shit. And then there's a dude that comes up to me. Turns out he's an 18 Delta on rotation. So that was kind of
Oh, from
cool.
the schoolhouse, or he's research.
Research. I think he was a guard guy.
Yeah.
I think he said he was a guard
Fuck
guy,
yeah.
like 19th group or something. But I remember running into it, and he sniffed me out. I sniffed him out. Here I am, like half out of it, and I can still spot an 18 Delta. It's pretty cool. And
It's it's
he's
hard to
like,
do
hey
the
man,
secret handshake when you're laid up too.
yeah. He's like, I think the doc's gonna let me set your femur. Are you cool with that? I was like, yeah, hell yeah, man, whatever. So they gave me a
Fuck you.
massive dose of ketamine, and I was out completely. So I was didn't feel a thing, but apparently that 18 Delta popped my femur back in. I don't know, dude. How do you pop a femur back in,
Coverage. I think you got to, yeah, you like you're lifting a boulder or something.
dude?
You put it on a pivot point and you fucking crack it over.
Yeah. So that was fine. I got really lucky with that. No problems. I've got some pain. I've got some scar tissue, I think, in there, but overall, not too many problems with the femur. But what was not cool, so they do a full body x-ray, right? Or MRI or whatever the hell they do. And they come back in and they're like, hey man, put this neck brace on and don't move. You're going into emergency
Yeah.
surgery immediately because you have an unstable fracture between your 3 and your 4. And we got to get you in quick. So I was I think like that close to being paralyzed from that accident. Like it could have really jacked me up permanently. So they get me in and they had to fuse my 3 and 4. Like less than an hour later they're like, I'm in surgery, and it's like, okay, yeah, do what you got to do, man. I don't know. So apparently they go in through the front.
They do. It's easier to go in through the front. Yeah.
Okay. Have you had something like that done?
No, I just pick up knowledge, man. I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm full of useless fucking information.
me too. So yeah, they go in through the front and they move that out of the way. Yeah. Then they like literally screws two things together. Yeah, man. And I was laid up in the hospital for about 3 or 4 days or something. Had a neck brace on for the next 8 weeks. But made a really good recovery. Got really, really, really lucky. Really lucky. And my family was like, can you maybe find a different thing to do?
Did you have to sell the bikes now?
I hung it up. That was the last time I rode.
Yeah.
That was the last time I rode,
Yeah.
was last May, whatever, March, I think that crash was. I just didn't want to get hurt again for my family. I was like, okay, that was
No, fuck no. That's a bad one. Nobody wants to go through that, especially when you're that close to being paralyzed. Like, all right, well, that's too much.
yeah, and I just got out, got my whole retirement ahead of me, and it just sucks, man, because I was really, really into the sport. I really wanted to excel at it and go be competitive at my age. That was a big deal. Just wasn't in the cards, man. And I think the universe was like, my buddy Trey said to me, he's like, sometimes the universe kind of just taps you a little bit, and then sometimes it goes, hey. I think that's what happened with me. So I was like, okay,
I I have a different philosophy on that,
let's hear it.
and it comes from the weight room, right? I have only been injured on lightweight, and from that happening, I kind of have listened to everybody else's stories about how they got hurt and injured and these things. Is the reason I think it is the reason why a lot of us get seriously injured is we don't respect lightweight. Like, we don't respect the things we've done over and over again. If you've done something 1,000 times, well, the time you're not paying attention when you got live rounds in, that's when something's gonna go wrong, right?
Mm,
Even though you've done it so many times. You have to take every situation that can hurt you just as serious as if it's the bar and 245s on each side, or if it's 5 45s on each side. You have to
yeah,
do every lift, every repetition the same. And when we don't respect the easy repetitions is when we get hurt. And every time I've hurt myself in the gym was from when I just did not respect the light weights. And I think that happens to a lot of us. We just go, I know how to do this, and we fucking, that's when you get hurt.
that's what happened
So
to me, man. I overestimated myself. Was on the wrong bike. It was a stupid decision. It was a stupid decision. I shouldn't have hit that jump with a different bike. And yeah, you're right. Respect the lightweight. I like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I throw everything back to the gym. We can do it in the shoot house. Um, you can go on mission. And somebody told me about it. What was it? Jesse at Second Battalion. We were talking. He was talking about awards or something once, and he goes, go read Silver Star citations, and most of those are just fucked up, easy operations where they didn't properly plan for the outcomes that could have happened. And
Right.
he would know because he's like, I've been in some of those situations, and we didn't
Yeah.
fucking take things seriously, and then somebody ended up getting a Silver Star, and we got fucked up.
Right.
And I drew on some things that people say is we just don't. You're never above like getting fucked up. Like, it's always there. That's why the principles of patrolling, right? Common sense, and
Yeah,
we
man.
discount because we our abilities. So I and but not to discount anything. Like, yeah, there's
No,
people, whatever signs you got, signs and the universe telling me not to do that and things like that. But everything that has ever happened to me is completely my fault, and I can make it better or I can make it worse. So that's my philosophy as I go. I got hurt, that's my fault. I need to do better. When I was drinking, that was my fault, and I needed to stop that and things like that. So, but uh, but yeah, you push yourself to get hurt and you go, maybe that's it. That's time to hang it up. But it may never happen again. You know, that's
I
the other
know.
side of it. It may never happen again,
I
or it
know.
could happen the very next time because you're scared. You go to the
Yeah,
jump and you don't, and you do the exact same thing because you're apprehensive. So you never know.
dude. Yeah. But having I just had a grandson. I've got a daughter who's 11. I've got a son. I've got another daughter. They need me around. So I'm not going to take any more risks like
So,
that.
well, you healed up from that, but you said you got more into, well, I guess, more of a grounded sense of things. So you got into the survival school after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I got
What's up
out,
with this
yeah, the survival
survival
stuff.
university, right?
Yeah. When I got out, another team that I know I realized I didn't have as much anymore was the backbone of the army and the backbone of the unit. Like if something happens, when I was in 10th group, if something happened in the world, what do? I go report to 10th group, right? And I'm part of that. And that's my prepper. So you'll see where I'm going with this. That's my prepper community. Like that whole organization has my back, right? and I could possibly even drag my family, you know, onto Fort Carson, and they have that blanket, right? So when I got out, I realized, wow, that's gone. I don't have a network. Like I've got SF guys that I'm friends with, but I don't have a solid network. Like if something goes wrong, right? I don't have a tribe. Like I said, I've got a few guys, but I need something more solid. So I joined this club. It's kind of a prepper club out here in Colorado. And actually we've actually worked with them doing some exercises out in public. So they're kind of a prepper community, and that got me into preparedness. So I've kind of gone down that road a little bit. I'm not like super uber prepper guy. I don't have, you know, buckets and buckets and buckets of grain and flour or anything like that. And I don't raise chickens or anything like that. But I have gotten into preparedness, and it's just fun. It keeps me busy. It keeps my mind active. So that kind of led to finding the survival university. I found it through one of that club that I'm in. I found, you know, I met the owner, this guy named Jason. He's been running this company, the Survival University, since 2015, and you know he's crushing it. He's one of the foremost survival guys, I think, in the U.S. So I got linked up with him, and he wanted to start some tactical stuff. So me and another guy, this guy named Damien that I work with, we've just been designing some tactical things for civilians and possibly for DoD. We'll just leave that at that.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
So when we say survival, are we talking basic skills? Are we talking advanced skills or water filtration?
So
Agriculture? What are we talking about?
yeah, so Jason does, and his crew, they do a lot of the field stuff, the bushcraft stuff, the basic skills, fire starting, shelters, survive, you know, food procurement in the wild, you know, hunting, curing game, all that type of stuff. But he wanted a different focus. So he asked me and Damien to look at some urban stuff. So we developed an urban preparedness course for civilians. It's a 2-day course, and we just teach people really a lot of skills that are lost or were never there, like situational awareness. Teach people about situational awareness, teach them how to recognize if they're being followed in a very, very generic way, not crossing any boundaries for all you DoD people out there. But yeah, very, very basic stuff for civilians. And it's designed for like people who they've never been in a tactical environment. They've never been in a military environment. They don't have any sort of emergency planning in their pocket, you know, like a PACE plan or anything. So we're teaching people that stuff. And we do some fun stuff in the course. Like we teach people how to get out of handcuffs and restraints. That's fun. People usually dig that. We do some homemade water filtration systems, teach people how to make, you know, homemade stuff, how to find food in an urban environment, which is pretty easy. It's everywhere. But we talk about like dumpster diving. We do some foraging, talk about plants that you can forage and just around here and stuff. So yeah. And then comms. I got big into comms. I'm a total comms nerd now. I'm like a ham radio guy.
Well, that's fun. I am linked up with a guy named uh as soon as I said that, his memory or his name went out of my uh, Robert Toombs. He's the owner of Mountain Readiness he does out of North Carolina.
Cool.
I went down there. They're actually going to be up in, I believe, in Montana this coming summer. They're doing an expo. So they do the Mountain Readiness Expo in Hickory, North Carolina, and they've got all kinds of knife makers, and they got the radio people, and then tracking classes, and they've got shooting classes and everything prepper, and then just
Cool.
preparedness and homesteading life and things like that. I'll send you that stuff after we get done
Yeah.
with here.
Yeah.
But
Shoot me the.
yeah,
That's cool.
there's so much information that you got to be ready with. And I was down there, you know, talking to some people. I was raising some money for a foundation, and people were like, "Well, you know?" They were asking me, like, you know, like I know. They're like, "What's your plan if things go bad?" And I was like, "I'm gonna fucking die, like almost everybody else is going to do when things go bad. Like, what the fuck do you think's gonna happen?" And they're like, "Well, that's not very prepared." I go, "No, I live in the urban, like I live in the suburbs. Like we're all gonna fucking die." That's my plan A. And if I plan B, and if I somehow make it out of civilization, I'm gonna go where there's a bunch of trees. I'm gonna drive until I run out of gas, and then I'm gonna start cutting down trees. I'm gonna build a house. And they're like, "That's your plan?" I was like, "Yeah, that's my plan. I'm gonna figure it out."
Sweet. Hey, any plan's better than no plan.
I'm just a realist. Although my whole life has just been I'm just gonna wing it. I got a few cases of MREs in the garage,
There you
and
go.
if the nuke, my wife says, "Well, what if they start dropping nukes?" I was like, "Depends on where. If it's close enough, I'm gonna go back to drinking for the couple seconds I have alive, and we're gonna have a nice bottle of scotch here before we're vaporized." If they're far enough away, well, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. That's what we're gonna do,
Yeah.
you know?
Drive
We're
the
gonna
opposite.
take all the guns out of the safe, and I'm gonna figure it out. We're gonna get out to the wilderness because I've driven this entire country. There's nothing in most of it, and there's a lot of places to go. There's a lot of places to go.
Yeah.
So,
Nice. Hell yeah.
but, oh, man, there's those people. There's some people that got shit squared away, man.
Super squared
They
away.
got the homesteads. They got
Yeah.
the homesteads, they got the animals, they got all the other stuff, and they got the skills. And I'm over here going, yeah, I'm just gonna figure shit out. I don't know if I'll either die or I won't. I'm like,
Hey, man, whatever.
they're
It
like,
just
doesn't
keeps
that
my
make you anxious? I go, no, it makes you. It seems to make you anxious when I tell you
yeah,
my
makes
plan.
other people anxious. Yeah, man. I it just keeps me busy. I try not to take it too seriously. Like I try not to push it on people in a way like you're gonna die, dude. It's whatever. You do you, I'll do me. Like I'm doing a 2-hour seminar for it's open to the public. I'm doing that in about a month live on preparedness, right? But I don't want to do any fear messaging. I don't want to go in there like doom and gloom, telling people you got to do this, you got
You're
to
not
do
going to wear
this.
a tinfoil hat and do You're not going to lead off with your top 10 conspiracy theories right off the bat.
No, that's a good idea though. I should come in as a joke. I should just come in with a tinfoil hat on.
That is a good icebreaker of starting off with, some just ridiculous. Like, all right, so show of hands, who knows the moon landing was faked?
For sure, for sure. Throw them off. Yeah, I mean, you
You'll
guys
really,
know.
you'll really get it. Not, yeah, you get a sense of who your crowd is right away if you lead off with that. You might
Yeah,
not get any return business.
yeah, I know, right? Like this guy's a clown. But yeah, so I'm trying. I don't know. I'm just trying to get people to think about it. Like at least have a couple of case MREs in their garage, that type of shit. I mean, there's some people, man, who just they don't have any skills. They don't have any skills. Like I talk to some people, and I'm like, "Do you even have like a flashlight in your house?" They're like, "No." Like, okay, all right, well, okay. Anyway, yeah.
That
So I
is
so I got
that
into
is
ham
like a
radio
one.
too, and I do I'm just starting a comms class. I do like a 1-day
Okay,
intro to radios for civilians. Talk about radios, really into that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, there's a significant portion of the country that still has to communicate with ham radios in Alaska and out in the fucking boonies, you know?
right. Yeah.
Um, okay.
So
What's your plan going forward with that? Do you want to get more into that and teach more classes and kind of make a thing, or is it just like as a hobby right now to keep you busy?
right now it's just a hobby. We don't have enough stuff on the books to call it like a job. It brings a little bit of income. I mean, a side hustle at this point would be nice, and just a couple hundred extra dollars coming in a month would be nice. So I'd like to turn it into that, but I don't want to break my back over it. I'm not gonna every day, all day, pour everything I got into it. I want it to be fun and I still want to be like into it. So that's my plan with that. I think kind of your philosophy. I'm just kind of winging it. I'm just winging it, dude.
I did it in the military, and then I tried to be more strategic as a civilian. And man, even in the simplest things, like trying to plan ahead to get my medication from the VA, every time I plan ahead, in the civilian world out here, it seems to fuck me over. And I just do better waiting till the last minute and then just figuring it out when I have to figure it out.
If
And
you
that
wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute.
only takes a minute unless you care about what other people think about you and how you look. But luckily, I don't care too much unless it's like a professional setting. But uh, yeah, I'm a lot less stressed that way. Although it does stress other people out that live with me that I'm a lot calmer than I used to be. So maybe it's good, maybe it's
Certain
bad.
people who live with you.
Certain people, the dogs are fine with it. They love it. They're like, "What are we doing today?" It's always everything's an adventure. But no, that's good, man. So you got the survival. How is retirement treating you? I mean, you kind of got hurt, and you're still having to kind of deal with that, but not having to wake up and go to group every day and have that obligation to go
Oof.
hang out with your friends anymore. How are you dealing with that still?
Uh, So it was hard at first, and then I just started reconnecting with a lot of dudes, and it was nice to have friendships with guys outside of the work setting because we're like we're not really that rated like comparing each other. We're not. There's no racking and stacking when you're not at the
Yeah.
job anymore. You're just kind of dudes. You're just fucking dudes. I meet a lot of crusty old warrants, and we go have beer and we talk about bullshit. Tell a lot of old war stories. We probably our inflated fucking warrant officer stories to each other to pat ourselves on the back. That's fun. I so to answer your question, it was tough at first, but then I started getting reconnected with some of my old warrant friends, and I do sound for a band, and two of the folks in that band are ex Green Berets, so that's cool.
What's the name of the band?
Last Patrol Band. Yep, yep.
Shout out to Last
They're
Patrol
they're a
Band.
cover band, so I go out and do
Okay.
sound for them. Yeah, I'm an audio engineer. I don't know if I mentioned that. That's a big part of my life. I've been an audio engineer for decades. Different.
Well, I'm sure you're much more professional than I am because I'm terrible at it.
I don't know, man. I just got a laptop. I mean, you seem to be doing fine to me. I mean, you got this massive, riverside.com, whatever that is. That's pretty cool.
Oh man,
Nice.
I got technology on my side. I definitely use technology to help me accomplish what I'm trying to do. I don't say with that, I don't say I'll figure it out. I say some other program will figure it out for me.
Yeah.
I definitely defer to a more intelligent species than me for pretty much all of my technological answers because
So I
everything has already been done. So all I have to do is just do better than somebody that already failed at it. So and the mistakes have all been made.
dude, I've been using Chat GPT a lot to help me format classes and write
Yeah.
social media posts. Like, it's all about the prompt now. Like, I could sit there and I could type
Yeah.
something. I'm not a bad writer, right? I think I'm an okay writer. But for me to write out a 1,000 word post for social media is going to take me 2 hours, right? Or I can be like, okay, here's my ideas. I just need, God, people are probably just so mad at me right now for saying all this. They're probably like, you're such a fucking sellout. What do you
Here's
think?
how I frame it to people. My content that I make, my reels and my pictures, and that is the most important part. Now, when I do write something, I keep it 99% what I say, and I have ChatGPT clean it up with the grammar and the mistakes and everything. I use the voice to text on ChatGPT so that I can just hit click and I can just talk all of the ideas out for a post, and then I hit dictate and I say rearrange, and I'll read it. And I'll say clean it up for punctuation and for an Instagram post, and then it'll break it up into the little paragraphs, and then I'll read back through it again, and because I know what I said, and I'll say I
Yeah,
didn't say that, and I'll copy it, and then I'll take out what it thought I meant and put back what I meant or what I said,
right.
because I can't spend 2 hours typing something if I want to go from subject to subject. I've got a lot of stuff to do, so
Yeah.
99% of me, and then the grammar and all that stuff too, and it's like, if you can keep me going and help me out with the things, I don't have a problem with it. It's when the picture is AI, the post is AI, it's all these automatic posts, and it's nothing to do with me, like, as long as you're still making the content, that's fine. Like, you just
Yeah.
use technology to your advantage. Um, but sometimes you can't think of what you're trying to say, and you just say a bunch of stuff, and then, "Oh, that's the word I was looking for. That's the how I was trying to say it," and then you just redo it. So, I don't I don't judge anybody on the stuff they put out there as long as you're doing your best with what you got,
Nice.
because I'm 38, 38, 39, something like that, doesn't matter, and I'm so technologically behind the curve when it comes to somebody that's 19, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand how stuff works at the same way they do, so I'll take every advantage that I can get to compete in the social media space because there's people that are way better than me. I can but I can outwork a 19-year-old kid every day of the week. So, because 'cause I've done it before, and I'll do it again, and
Yeah.
I'll
You have a
figure out how
different
to do
work
it.
ethic.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
we just
You know,
use the
it's
tools.
funny.
As long as I'm putting out content for me.
It reminds me of something you said earlier, how you asked to go on a podcast and somebody was like, well, send me a resume and a bio and we'll see if we're interested. I appreciate you just, I was like, hey, man, I'd like to go on your podcast and just chat about my bullshit life. And you're like, yeah, man, come on. I appreciate that, man. So that was awesome. And why I wanted to relate to that. So I've been making music for a long time, right? And one of the ways you get your music, one of the ways you can get your music on Spotify is you can use this service that you pay in you so let's say you want these curators to listen to your music. They curate playlists and they want to curate a specific style playlist, and you pay them to listen to your music and give you a review and either put it on their playlist or not. So either way, they get money. And what I found with a lot of these people is they all shit on what you're doing. They just all shit on what you're doing. Then I don't think I'm a bad artist. I've got some fans, and people are like, "Man, you write some really good music." But then there's all these curators who are just like, "Huh, I don't like this little part right here. Sorry." So you got my dollar, you fucking asshole, and you're just gonna turn me down every time. You're just gonna take my dollar every time, and you know what it is? It's probably some 19-year-old kid, and that's
Could
the
be.
biggest kick in the teeth.
I started I asked Jeff Darty, a Task Force Dagger, just over text the other day. I said, "Why do you do this?" And he said, "'Cause it was something that I needed when I got out and it wasn't there." So he's now dedicated his life to being a resource for GBs that need help, right? I started the show because I saw other people having their own show and getting to talk to all these cool people. And my definition of cool people is a lot different than other people's definition of cool people. I just want to talk to my buddies from special operations and stuff like that, right? And special operations adjacent. And so I started this, and somebody told me no, like I told you, that I couldn't come on the show. And I went, I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to start my own show because I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. If I work hard at it, I can have my program. And I don't vet people. I don't ask for anything unless you're coming at me with like a nonprofit or something like that. And I'm like, can you just send me the link to your website so I can research a little bit about that? But if we were raising money for a veterans charity or something like that, yeah, you can come on the show and we'll just talk. And it's morphed into solely being about my guest story to we just have the conversation that my guest needs to have, and I don't care what we talk about. We just
That's
will
cool.
come up with whatever. And if I can have somebody on my show that wants to have a conversation with me and I just be a nice person, and because the most effect that we have is one on one. It's just me talking to you,
Yeah,
and now you know me and I know you, and I've got other people that I want to introduce you to now as a result of you talking to me, and now those people will be involved in what you got going on, and it all helps the brotherhood, right?
for sure.
Because People have come on my show and say, the brotherhood wasn't there for me when I needed them. I think they were. You were just looking in the wrong place. That's what I think that is the problem that happened when I listened to that. But everybody has the experiences and everybody has their point of view and their perspective. I can only affect what I can, and I can have my own show. I can have my own page. I can promote whoever I want to, and I want to promote our guys, and I can do the best I can because we got guys checking out early. We've got guys passing away from cancer. We've got all these resources, and if I can help, then I want to help. I got so sad last night. I was making a post for somebody I don't know and helping out their nonprofit because I got a friend that's on the board there. And I was making this post and I just was like, oh man, I love doing this. And I got so sad. I was like, man, I can't imagine not being able to do this in the future. And I
It's
just
cool.
hope that I can keep finding a way to do it because I've never been so into what I'm doing. I didn't think I would eclipse my military service in what I'm doing either. And I have nothing in my life left to accomplish. But now if I can help other people feel that way, that sense of accomplishment and what they want to do,
Yeah,
then that's what I want to do.
it's
Whether
great.
that's in the gym or in the kitchen or mental health wise or get people connected to resources. I genuinely do not care what happens to me going forward. But I do care about everybody else and their well-being, and if I can help them, then that's what I wanna do, and,
Hell yeah, man. That's a great
if I
cause.
can do that by just having somebody on my show and talking to them, that's so cool, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I just think it's cool.
Hell yeah. No, I love it, dude. I fell out of an airplane once. That was pretty like
Me too.
on act.
What, like your reserve went off?
No. So we were at a Halo requal and I was the jump master. Long story short, the plane started to go like this, and I lifted up the tailgate and I kept going weightless and I
Yeah.
couldn't hold the tailgate. It's this big long door, right? And when the plane's going like this, it's like it goes weightless. So it's really heavy, and then I can't get it, and it's free floating, and I'm like on the edge of nothing. And tailgate started to come down on me, and I fell out backwards out of a plane. I had a parachute on, but I mean,
Did you make it?
I made, I made it. I know that's the funny part. Like I fell out of a plane, but I mean, I had a parachute on, so it's really no, I had a parachute on, and we trained for
The
that.
problem
You know,
only comes if you get knocked out. That's the only problem, and
yeah,
then there's the
right.
EFIS. The EFIS system will go off at what altitude? 2,000 feet or something like that, or
Something like that. Yeah, your Cypress will fire.
Cyprus, that's it. So
Yeah.
I,
So
I didn't get to man, I didn't get to do any schools. I didn't get to do anything. I that's another thing I tell guys, be happy with what you do get to do. And
yeah,
no matter what it is, no matter what school sergeant major gives you, say, yeah, I'll go do that. Let me go do that. Because could be your only shot at something. My the coolest school I got to go to as a Green Beret was master driver on post with the regular army. That's the most badass thing I did as a Green Beret
do you have
was
that
go to master
master
driver
driver
course.
badge?
I'm sure I could award myself one. I was the company master driver. I have my certificate right here in
Hell
my
yeah.
I
Frame
love
that.
me book.
Frame that
I
motherfucker.
put it up on Facebook the other night or a few months ago, and it went over huge. I just posted it up as a joke, as like an anti-flex, and it got couple 100,000 views. I was like, "Oh, man,"
Yeah.
but then I thought about it, it's like,
Yeah.
you don't know what's the end is gonna be. You don't know what you're gonna get. Like, just say, "I'll do it. I'll do that. I'll go do everything," until you can't do it anymore.
I
That worked for me.
yeah, when I got into the army, I was so anxious to do anything. Like I was in the infantry, so going to ranger school would have been like, yeah, man, getting a ranger tab. You like when you walk through a crowd to see like parts. But they wouldn't send anybody to school. So when I was a young Joe in the infantry, I was just like looking for anything. And so I think I went to like load master or something. I was like, I just want an extra thing, an extra line on the back of my GI Joe file card that says,
Remember they had this big competition on Fort Sill for a Ranger tab slot or Ranger school slot that didn't exist, and they were never going to send anybody but a Ranger school. They were having people do 12-mile ruck marches and PT tests and shit like that, and there was no Ranger school slot. Nobody ended up going.
that
I'm like, oh,
sucks.
fuck.
That sucks.
But
Yeah.
I now here's one since you'll appreciate this one. So I got selected. I came back to my unit, and that was like an experience in itself because they ask you, "Did you get selected?" And I'm like, "You're goddamn right, I did."
Yeah.
You know,
Fuck yeah, I
and
did.
then I go to airborne in return. So I go TDY in return. So I come back. I got jump wings on,
You got
and
wings on?
I'm like, I got wings on coming back to a field artillery unit, a leg field artillery unit. So I'm like riding high.
Damn, son.
Yeah, and there was only one other guy on staff. He was airborne qualified, and he was pretty proud of me. But so then I'm ready to go. I PCS from Fort Sill to Fort Bragg, and I go through the course. And when I PCS, I have my uniform out. Like I didn't pack it away. I had it in my backpack, and so I drove from Bragg, and we're going across the country, and I went to Fort Sill, and I put my uniform on and my beret in the car, and I walked right into my old unit with my beret and my fucking special forces tab on. I walked back into my unit with my beret on and my tab, and the first sergeant and commander were still there. And, it was just such a like, I don't want to say fuck you moment, but just like I fucking did it, man.
Hell yeah.
And then I kind of looked around and went, yeah, I'm going to go now. I took a picture I wish I had that picture with the first sergeant and the commander, but
Yeah, man.
I should probably reach back out to them, but
I
well,
remember
man,
that.
it was yeah, it was a cool thing. It was a fucking cool thing, and it's interesting now that we're in retirement, and we'll see what we can make of it. So, what's your plan moving forward in retirement to take your next project, whether it be your audio engineering or the survival university, and then to do good within our community going forward?
Um, so I want to reconnect with DoD. I'm trying to connect with my old unit, and provide training services for them at a very affordable price. Not trying to make a bazillion dollars off the government. So I'm trying to crack that nut and put a lot of positive energy into it. Like I'm trying to give them a product that is a solid training venue with depth and good scenarios and good backside and just professionally ran. So that's kind of where I'm going with the DoD piece. I don't know, man. Every time jobs pop up and I'm like, man, do I want to take that job? I don't know. It's like a ton of money, but then I'm gone for like 6 months or something. I don't know. I may or may not take one of those. I don't know. I don't know. Sounds like you're training some people, right? Maybe I'll jump on board with you. Who are you training?
Me? I don't know. No, I'm just going to hang out with the 519 guys. I'm trying to be a part of their team. I got some projects. Hopefully, I can work with them. But all my stuff's digital right now, right? But I see the stuff pop up too. I mean, at the point, sometimes you got to take it to get some money. Sometimes you don't. But we'll see where things go. I don't know. I don't know where I'll be in the next year. I did tell my sponsor for the program here. Yeah, yesterday I said next year you and I are going to SHOT Show together. I don't think lesser known operators is there yet to be for it to be as beneficial as it could be for the brand and everything this year, but next year I want to have this whole thing in a place to where I want to go to SHOT Show and really start trying to establish this more as a business going
Yeah,
forward and a brand that can help a greater amount of people without changing too much. And
nice.
there's some stuff I want to do, but it's all going to be dependent on a lot of work being done by me and some things. We're going to pick up our T-shirt tomorrow. Also, our first T-shirt for the business for the Special Forces Mistress. Those are available. So it's going to be an interesting process, man. It's
Dude,
going to be
I'll buy
another
a
interesting
t-shirt.
year. But I can't. I'll send you I'll show you where the link's at after this. As I said, well, I'm gonna take us back to the lobby here in a second. But so how can everybody find you in the Survival University on
Yeah,
the socials if they so choose?
survivaluniversity.com. So Red Side Tactics is my Instagram. I kind of made a tactical page for myself, and I've started coming out of the woodwork a little bit and telling people I'm an ex Green Beret instead of being this quiet professional, because I think that's killing us a little bit. I think it's killing Green Berets a little bit. We're too quiet. We're so quiet that we're going to disappear. And it's pissing me off. Like, I see social media blowing up with like people. I mean, obviously everybody's talking about Delta Force right now. Kudos, guys. You're awesome. Please keep doing what you're doing. But then I see a lot of people talking about SEALs all the time. They're like, Navy SEAL this, blah, 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 blah. Even saw an AI post that was like the top 4 US special forces was Delta, Navy SEALs, DevGru, Rangers. I was like, what kind of
There's only one Special Forces.
bullshit AI fucking shit is this? And but the thing is, kids are reading that and they're eating it up. And I want kids to join SF. Like, I
Yeah.
SEALs, I love you, no problem, no problem. You guys are awesome. But I do want people to join my team. So anyway, on my
Yeah, you got to
social,
root for the alma mater.
yeah, I've come out more as an ex Green Beret, and I'm not hiding it anymore. I'm not hiding what I did. I was potentially looking at doing some more work, um, some more classified work, but I think that ship has sailed. Especially coming out and telling people what I do now, like put that name out there, ex Green Beret. I mean, kind of burned myself a little bit, but I don't care because I want people to know what I did was cool. I still do cool stuff, and I want them to join the Army Special Forces. It's really, I want to change that narrative a little bit. I don't want us to be so quiet that we get lost.
I do too. We unfortunately have things are different now as a result of I don't know, people can argue with me on this or they can agree with me. I really don't care. I think we a long time ago lost the marketing battle and pretty much lost the marketing war to the point we are firmly in last place and have no signs of getting out of last place anytime soon. At least from my point of view and everything I've seen over the last year and the content I make, we regular Army Special Forces is also behind 20th Group and 19th Group. It is in dead last place when it comes to marketing for being a Green Beret because 20th Group and 19th Group don't have the same restrictions that active duty does.
Right,
So they do, but it's not the same because it's National Guard. So
right. Interesting.
Rangers are ahead, SEALs are ahead. Delta's done. I mean, from the last time I checked, is Delta still not even real? It's not even a
It's
real
not a real
confirmed
thing. No,
unit.
it's a fictitious
It's
unit.
not a real thing,
That's
and
fake.
we're behind a fictitious, unconfirmed government team.
I know. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. And dude,
But
people don't like.
whatever.
I see pictures on Facebook, people talking about this is the DevGru loadout. You know, like, yeah, that dude's cool, man, but we're cool too. We got all sorts of cool stuff. Come on over to SF, be on a Halo team or a dive team, or go to be a fucking sniper, be a badass. Fucking A, unconventional warfare, guerrillas.
We'll get it figured out. We'll get it figured
I'm
out.
going on a rant now. Sorry.
My generation, my peers are the ones coming into command, and we'll see how things change over the next 5 to 10 years as we take over battalions and take over groups. But it's the generation that's after us are the ones that we're seeing the recruiting dip, and we'll see how things go. It's going to be interesting. I feel like I can help out a little bit, but we'll see how things go. But you're right. It here at a base bare minimum, being a silent professional is only detrimental to you. It is you bottling up all of these accomplishments that you poured your entire life out to accomplish, and you're doing no service to yourself. You're going, oh, I talked myself down and I didn't do any, and I'm not supposed to do this. Like, fuck that. It's over now. The time to be a quiet professional is over. You're a civilian.
Yeah,
That's bullshit. And
exactly.
it's not helping your psyche. It's not helping your
Yeah,
fucking mental health or any of that stuff. So that time is over.
right.
So,
And people need that.
and that's what I operate on.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
can still be a professional.
I love
I
it.
can still be a professional.
Yeah. People need that,
So,
and then people need to see that, you know? We've done a lot of cool stuff, and it's not time to, don't stuff it all. I don't know. Yeah. Times have changed, man.
all right, brother.
We need to get people into SF.
You got anything for me?
No, man, I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun just spouting off about Army
Absolutely.
stuff.
No,
Appreciate it,
you're
man. It was
good. I'm
fun.
going to get ready to go out to, I'm going to pack here in a little bit. And as I say to everybody, now you know me and I know you. And if there's any way I can help you out in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah,
And, we'll
same.
see where things go.
Yeah, and
Appreciate you, brother.
if you land in Colorado Springs, look me up. I'll give you my number.
I will do that. Bye, everybody.